most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.
It's a very different experience being a black woman in America. Everywhere you go and everywhere you turn, you see white faces. You don't see people like you. And often when you do see people like you in the magazines or on TV shows or on billboards, it's never in positive situations and it's never a true reflection of who you are. And it really does affect the person of who is a black woman because you don't know who you truly are because your identity is often twisted. Ever been in a situation where someone commented on the way you looked?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Yes. I mean, obviously, like, it's no big surprise. I'm black. Like, oh my gosh, who knew? But, like, growing up, I never saw that as big of a problem as people kind of make it to be. And I have, like, this one distinct memory that kind of just, like, it still bothers me. And, you know, like, it was, like, 7th grade, I think. And, like, that was a time where, like, everybody, like, their insecurities were put on blast. Nobody was spared. And I remember I was getting ready to go to, like, some Shipley dance or whatever. And, like, you know, I had my sugar lips on, I had my hair straightened, I thought I was cute. So I roll up in the dance, and I find this guy, and he's, like, really cute, and I get his number or whatever. We start talking, and, you know, like, any person would be hyped for getting someone's number and talking to them. So I start talking to him, and, you know, after a while, he says, you know, I'm not that into black girls. I thought you were mixed. You're not that cute. It was just strange to me because he only found me attractive because he thought I was mixed with being white, and that, like, my blackness kind of tainted that small amount of attractiveness he had for me. My blackness tainted it for him, and it kind of just, like, made me feel so, you know, undesired, just disgusting and ugly for something that I couldn't change. It's something that I can't remove this, I can't get rid of it. As much at the time I kind of figured, like, oh, I can do other stuff, like I can straighten my hair to make myself more appealing. I realized I can't do that.
Do you want to share that story?
Sure. In 3rd grade, we had a grade pool party, and we were coming home on the bus, and we were all just talking and sort of joking around. And this one girl who I thought was my friend was like, oh, I don't like black people. And she just sort of said it like it was a fact. And I remember being super hurt by that sort of statement. And I thought that it was something that, like, you could rationalize. So I was like, oh, why don't you like black people? And she was like, oh, well, they're rude. And I was kind of just like, well, you're being rude. And I remember we got back to school and I went to my teacher and I was literally sobbing. I don't think I've ever cried like that in public before. Surprisingly enough, she wasn't really punished. I'm not vindictive, but, you know, her punishment was to write me an apology letter, you know, with her mom. And obviously in 3rd grade, like, stories like that don't just come from the blue. You're probably taught that by your parents. So for her mom and her to write me a letter, I just felt didn't really do anything. I was definitely one experience where I felt I was sort of put in a bad position.
Have you ever been in a situation where someone has judged you based on the way you act?
Yes, I have. A while ago, I just finished eating lunch with my friends, and I walked over to another table afterwards to talk to my other group of friends who was sitting at this table. And as I walked away, once I finished my conversation, one of the people at the table, I overheard them saying, why was she here? Why wasn't she sitting with her white friends?
How did that make you feel?
I had never felt so ugly in my life.
For some reason, it made me feel ashamed of myself and ashamed of who I was.
It made me feel disappointed, first of all, and second, confused.
Why were you confused?
I saw that in a predominantly white community, I was expected to act one way, while my peers in the predominantly black community expected me to act a totally different way. And they refused to accept me if I acted one way, and one refuses to accept the other if they act the other way. So I was feeling really conflicted about that.
Do you think you're the only one who's ever been in a position like that?
I highly doubt it. I feel that, everyone goes through that at some point in their life if they're, outside of the norm, whether it be race, religion, all of that stuff.